We are fortunate to have many women in positions of leadership, serving as directors and deputy directors in Allegheny County. We asked them to help us commemorate the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which granted women the right to vote.
She was a daughter,
a sister,
a wife,
an aunt,
a mother,
a grandmother.
But she was also a volunteer,
a philanthropist,
an activist, an environmentalist,
a suffragist.
Mary Stephen Flynn Lawrence was born in 1887, just as Allegheny County was preparing to celebrate its centennial.
She was the first daughter of William and Nancy Flynn and one of 5 children.
Her father was State Senator William Flynn, and Mary learned about politics at his side.
As a young woman, she helped her father with his social reform work, including working with the Industrial Home for Crippled Children, the organization we recognize today as the Children's Institute.
In 1904, she established the Allegheny County Equal Franchise Federation at the age of 17.
A graduate of the Thurston School, Mary graduated from Briarcliff College in 1906.
In 1912, she became the Equal Federation's president.
It was Mary who fired the opening gun and gave the first 2 speeches at a week-long suffrage campaign at the Grand Opera in Pittsburgh in January of 1912.
She was among the Pittsburgh suffragists who lobbied for the suffrage plank at the Republican National Convention in Chicago that year.
In 1914, she married John Lawrence, a man who was not averse to her efforts.
In May of 1914, she was part of the suffragette parade on Grant Street, which is memorialized in the Carnegie Science Center's miniature railroad.
Reports of the day tell the story that when Mary got tired of carrying her banner, her husband carried it for her.
The people on the sidewalk started to laugh. The sign he was carrying said, "If a man can vote, why can't I?"
World War I interrupted suffrage efforts across the country, but Mary used the opportunity to further their goals.
She formed the Suffrage Red Cross, combining support of the troops through fundraising and nursing with her promotion of suffrage.
The effort showed that women were just as patriotic and deserving of citizenship as men.
And she remained active throughout the battle for the ballot.
Her relationships, education, and social skills allowed her to interact and meet with many members of the state legislature of the day.
Her entree to their homes allowed her to lobby in person key legislators who would then vote to ratify the 19th Amendment.
And after the vote was secured, she remained active in political matters.
She was a member of the Pennsylvania Council of Republican Women.
She was the vice president of the Allegheny County Elections Association.
She helped Gifford Pinchot's campaign for Pennsylvania governor.
She was appointed to the position as Secretary of the Commonwealth.
She served on the State Forest Commission under 3 governors and advocated for such issues as child welfare and billboard control.
In the 1920s, she and her husband built a home patterned after an estate in England.
A home that would allow her to showcase equestrian arts, beautiful gardens, and sprawling lawns.
And a home she wanted to ensure would be enjoyed for generations to come.
In 1969, Mary sold the 400 acres of land and trail to Allegheny County with several stipulations, including that the land can never be subdivided.
In 1974, Heartwood Acres became the county's 9th park.
We stand here today because of Mary's commitment to social reform, the environment, and the idea that not just all men, but all people are created equal.
Women's suffrage was an opportunity for Mary Flynn Lawrence, Ida B. Wells, Daisy Lampkin, and many others to participate more fully in the public affairs of society through political engagement and civic action.
Suffrage was just the first step.
Mary and many others involved in the movement knew that the advancement of women's rights was only possible through suffrage.
They knew they would be facing obstacles and hardships, but also understood they would be making allies along the way.
They learned grassroots skills, becoming more effective, and laid the groundwork to increase their participation in government.
They learned the full potential of democracy.
They also learned that much more work needed to be done, as many states were still denying people the opportunity to go to the polls who weren't white. They knew their efforts could not be complete until everyone shared in the same freedoms.
This is the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, an effort that changed the face of the American electorate forever.
Because of the work of Mary Flynn Lawrence and her contemporaries over 100 years ago, we all now have that same opportunity.
The women's suffrage movement had an impact and a ripple effect on subsequent generations, and we see that effect in educational, civil rights, and healthcare reforms.
Here in Allegheny County, it's particularly evident in the number of women holding governmental positions of influence and import.
Like me. But there's still work to do. And because of the work done before us, we have the opportunity to do this work and affect change as members of this government.
We can honor the sacrifices and work of the suffragists by involving ourselves in the political process.
This fall, we can all celebrate the 19th Amendment by learning about the candidates and issues and exercising our right to vote.
On November 3rd, in honor of Mary Flynn Lawrence, Ida B. Wells, Daisy Lampkin, Alice Warren Holmes, and men and women of all races who fought to ensure we had the opportunity to have our voices heard,
Vote